This is Comic Support, where we give you new comic book stories to jump into. In this issue, we have 10 new comic book stories coming at you from Marvel Comics. Marvel Comics' fresh start begins here. Welcome to Comic Support. I'm Leon Scorpius, and together we're going to talk about Marvel's fresh start. It begins this May. As always, a special thank you to Taymation Studios. You can catch all of the latest videos on the channel by subscribing. If you like this video, please give us a like, and if you like other comic support videos, leave us a comic. Tell us what comic books you'll be picking up this month. Marvel's fresh start begins this May. Are they rebooting? No, not really. So fresh start this time around is just new creative teams on all these new books, and it's a great jumping on point for new readers in Marvel Comics. It's perfect timing. We've got Marvel's Infinity War coming up. Everyone's gonna be loving the Avengers, and coming in May, Avengers makes it a big splash as part of fresh start. So I'm gonna talk about 10 of my picks for jumping on points. And cheating a little, I'm an X-Men fan. 4 of these ones have to do with Wolverine. So maybe there's 6 plus Wolverine. But the first comic that I want to talk to you about is Avengers. Avengers is coming up with a brand new creative team led by Jason Aaron of The Mighty Thor and all of the latest Thor comics, but you'll get Avengers number 1 and number 2 this month. So it looks like it'll be bi-weekly, which is pretty exciting for Avengers readers. That means that every other week you'll be able to go into your comic book shop and pick up an Avengers comic. Now, I highly recommend that if you enjoy the Avengers or any of the comic books that we'll be talking about today, that you go into your comic book shop and set up a pull box. So in these pull box updates videos, we're giving you some information on what's coming up, and it'll be your responsibility to go in and make sure that you reserve those comics. The way that comic book shops work lately, that they actually have to put in their orders 3 months in advance, so sometimes there's not enough copies for everybody. And the best way to secure your copy of lovely comic books is being able to get these fresh previews that are in comic book form. They come up in about 3 months in advance. So this is actually in March for all the May comics. I picked up a copy and I skimmed through it and sort out the ones that I want to buy, and I call up my local comic book shop. Some have emails now that you can email and update your pull list. But very important, of course, if you happen to miss the run, you can always buy them digitally or look at back issues. Sometimes local comic book shops have other partner shops that they can call up and grab an issue for you. But otherwise, you got to do it the old-fashioned way, like I did back in the 90s, where you literally drive across town to find the other comic book shops and see if they have the issue. But here, Avengers number 1, number 2, they're actually going to do a dual numbering system. So while it has new Avengers number 1 and number 2, they'll also have their legacy number, which I forgot what they're on. I think they're 400 something. But just so you don't get confused, you'll always have new jumping on points with some of these renumberings. So who is on this Avengers team? It's the Avengers! And what I mean by that is if you're watching the Avengers in the movie theaters, you'll recognize the Avengers in the comic books. This has been kind of a point of contention for a lot of comic book fans, as if they're watching some of the movies and they're excited about it, those characters are not always in the Avengers team. We're talking in previous issues that Avengers No Surrender right now is kind of mixing the 3 Avengers teams that have been going on in the comics for the past few years. And so that storyline's wrapping up, and this new storyline coming up in May is going to be the Avengers that you know and love, which consists of Thor Odinson. You've got Steve Rogers back on the team, and of course we know that Tony Stark is back in the mix as well. And in this story, they're going against the Celestials. They're not going alone though. There's a brand new Avengers team of some old and new, some from the all-new Avengers that you're used to. We have Captain Marvel. She's going to be jumping back on the team. We have Black Panther. So if you just finished watching Black Panther movie and want to read more about him, he's in this comic as well. We don't have the Incredible Hulk, but we have She-Hulk. So she's super smart. She's a lawyer. It's going to be really interesting to see how she beats things up, but also outsmarts some of her teammates. So it'll be great. We have Doctor Strange. So you're going to see a lot of Doctor Strange in Infinity War. He'll be in this book as well. And the kind of random toss-in person that you're going to see is Ghost Rider. However, this is Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider. So if you're watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it'll be that Ghost Rider in this Avengers book. Super exciting, a great jumping on point. Jason Aaron and Ed McGuinness is going to be a fantastic team. I know that Jason Aaron's been in a lot of comic cons going around and promoting his book too, so it's going to be a good time to pick up these comics, go to these comic cons and get his autograph. It's going to be a super exciting time for Avengers. All right, my second pick is Black Panther. So Ta-Nehisi Coates is going to keep on writing Black Panther, which is great. He's been telling a really good epic story with the Black Panther series, but now he gets to kind of give on a new jumping on point for new readers. The art is by Daniel Acuna, and get this, wait for it, it's Black Panther in space! That's right. So Black Panther and all of your favorite characters from Wakanda decide that it's not enough to just exist here on Earth. They are going in space, and the pickup line for picking this comic is "Behold the intergalactic empire of Wakanda." So if you love Black Panther, if you love space stories, this could be a really cool jumping on point. I'm excited to see what goes on in this series, and again, Black Panther, space. How can you not pick this one up? Number 3 coming at you is a relaunch of Venom #1. So a new creative team now on Venom. You have Donny Cates of the Doctor Strange series. He's been just doing an amazing job in all the comics that he's been writing for Marvel. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's going to do with Eddie Brock Venom. So what they're soliciting here is it's Venom all over again. So Eddie Brock is back. He's the lethal protector of the innocent people of New York City, and he's just going to be Venom. So you have Donny Cates paired up with Ryan Stegman as the artist. If you love Venom, we do have a Venom movie coming up soon, but if you love the Spider-Man universe, great spot to jump on if you're a Venom fan. As I've mentioned, I'm a huge X-Men fan, so these next 4 comics all come from the X-Men universe, specifically coming off of The Hunt for Wolverine. So we spoke on a previous issue that Wolverine is back, and it's Wolverine, or OG Wolverine. It's Wolverine if he was in the regular timeline. There's 5 other Wolverines out there now, but Wolverine is back. This month we read a great story by Charles Soule to kind of understand where he's been going, and it splits off into 4 different stories. Of course, I'm going to pick up all 4, but I just want to give you a glimpse of each of these 4 stories so that you can decide maybe you just want to pick up one, or man, that's a really cool team, that's really exciting, I want to pick up that one. The first one is from Charles Soule, and it's called Weapon Lost. So one thing that's great about for these Hunt for Wolverine stories, short stories, is there's 4 issues in each of these stories. So really good of just being able to pick up 4 stories, you're going to get a complete story, and it's Wolverine with a friend, or a friend looking for Wolverine. In this case, Charles Soule has Daredevil paired up with Misty Knight, and they're going to investigate sightings of Wolverine. So it's kind of like, I don't know, ghost sightings of Wolverine. But you have our favorite blind lawyer, Daredevil, going out there and looking for Wolverine. I think that's going to be super fun. I'm definitely picking that one up. The next one is from one of the great writers of Marvel, Mr. Tom Taylor, who is writing XMen Red and All New Wolverine right now with X-23, or Wolverine, or I think she's going back to X-23 soon once Wolverine takes his title back, but great run. He's doing a great job, and he's on X-Men Red right now. He's going to be writing the Antimentium Agenda. And what's exciting about Antimentium Agenda is you're actually going back to the New Avengers days. So it's Wolverine's New Avengers team. It's Iron Man, Spider-Man, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage. And they're just making sure that Logan's body wasn't being misused. And of course they discover a conspiracy. So you have these Defenders characters, or if you go back to Brian Michael Bendis' New Avengers, it's that team. if you want to read an Avengers comic looking for Wolverine, this is the one to pick up. The next Hunt for Wolverine comic is The Claws of a Killer #1 by Mariko Tamaki. And this is the Weapon X crew. You've got Sabretooth, you have Lady Deathstrike, you have Daken tracking down Wolverine. Don't really know what else there is to that, but if you read The Death of Wolverine, those characters were the ones that were integral to that storyline, and it's just fitting that those characters are also in the forefront of trying to find out what happens to Logan. Last but not least, Hunt for Wolverine Mystery and Madripoor. Now, if you're an X-Men geek, this is the one to pick up. It's written by Jim Zub, who hasn't traditionally writing X-Men comics lately, but his team, once you hear it, you're going to want to pick this one up. You've got Storm, you have Rogue, you have Psylocke, Domino, and Jubilee. They are looking for clues of their former Wolverine, and you know, these are all characters that have very strong relationships with Wolverine. And the one thing that's interesting is it's happening in Madripoor, so of course Wolverine's alter ego Patch is sighted, and they're trying to find out what's going on. So if you're an X-Men fan, pick this one up. Alright, so I'm not done with the Mutants world, but I'm done with the X-Men world. The next comic that I feel is a great jumping on point is something totally new, kind of inspired by nostalgia, but it's one of 5 coming up, and it's called You Are Deadpool. Now, You Are Deadpool is being written by Al Ewing, with art by Salva Espin and Paco Diaz, and this is a weekly series, so it's going to come up every week, and it is a role-playing adventure. No joke. You're going to be able to go through this comic, and depending on what you want Deadpool to do, you'll be able to decide what things that he makes and skip pages and tell your own story as if you are Deadpool. Super creative. Haven't seen this in a long time, so something like this is super creative. If you just love Deadpool, if you're excited about the Deadpool movie coming up, and again, going back to you're just looking for a short story, it's only 5 issues, pick this one up, add this to your pull box, it's going to come at you fast. Alright, so the 9th comic that I have on here as a jumping on point is Captain America number 701 and 702. So this is the last story arc for Mark Waid's run on Captain America. It's called The Promised Land, so you're getting parts 1 and 2 in the month of May, and you are following the grandson of Steve Rogers. I think it's like the year 2314 or something crazy like that. But it's in utopian America, but something is amiss. So one thing that's interesting, if you picked up Captain America 700, you know, it kind of tied up that storyline in a bow. So I'm curious where this one starts. You get to, is it a flash forward, or does Captain America travel in time again? Does he get frozen again? Something must happen. So we're looking forward to seeing what happens that. If you're a Captain America fan, that's a good jumping on point for a brand new storyline and the last storyline for Mark Waid's current run of Captain America. Last but not least, I lied, I guess it's an X-Men book, but not really, because Quicksilver is more of an adventure. But the last recommendation that I have is Quicksilver No Surrender #1. This is also one of 5, so perfect to pick up. And it's written by Saladin Ahmed, and it's written by Eric Wind. So if you've been reading Avengers Surrender, this is a tie-in that you definitely want to pick up. Quicksilver is trapped. He's somewhere. He's alone. There's something that happens in the Avengers No Surrender storyline that takes Quicksilver out of the Avengers, and this is just a great answer to, hey, Quicksilver is not dead, at least we don't think. But he is trapped, and he's waging a one-man war against a monster to save the world, and the world doesn't even know if he's alive. So it's going to be interesting to see how he gets back, if he gets back. A lot of things going on here. Quicksilver is always a fun character to read, to watch if you loved Quicksilver in the X-Men movies. I guess you could have loved him in the Avengers movie, Ultron movie as well. We'll find out what happens to Quicksilver in this issue. That's it for my picks for new comics coming at us from Marvel in May 2018. Also in May is Free Comic Book Day. It's happening Saturday, May 5th. Take you, your friends, your family, all the little ones to your local comic book shop where you can pick up some free comics as jumping on points and previews of upcoming titles and series. It's a great community builder. You have a lot of comic book super fans out there wanting to engage with you and share with you all that is fun and exciting about comic books. If you'd like to nerd out with me today, tomorrow, on Free Comic Book Day, please follow me on Twitter at LeonScorpius. Don't forget to give us a like and subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. And again, we appreciate all of your support. It's been such a blast engaging with all of you, and we want this series to keep on with the things that you are enjoying with comic support. So please comment below on what comics you're going to be picking up, and keep nerding out with us. We'll see you next issue.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you want to watch more from us, click on one of the thumbnails. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to keep up to date with our latest shenanigans. Be sure to click the bell for notifications, and check out the description below for a link to our Patreon page. See you next time!